everybody, and welcome. My name's Nikki. I'm the director of our educational programs here in Nashville, Tennessee at Nashville Yoga Company, and I'm so excited you're here today to talk about our 200-hour training. I had no idea that I was going to take yoga teacher training the day I signed up for it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my story at the end of this trailer because I know why you're here. It's to hear more about our 200-hour hybrid program, which makes it really cool because about 90% of the work is done online, which means you have this unique opportunity to study the information, stop when you need to, take deeper dives where you want to. I like to think about it as a ladder. You're just propping the ladder up with the 200-hour. The steps you take after that come from something that lights up during this 200-hour that really interests you, that you can dive deeper into as you go along in your yoga journey. And we talk about things like professional development. We have some executive coaches come in and sit down and talk about health and wellness and aligning values and missions. And a psychotherapist talks to us about feelings and what to do if maybe they arise during the training. Once we jump into the crux of the learning, we define our teaching methodology and philosophy. We talk about other professional development skills for yoga. And then we get into the fun part, the anatomy, the alignment, the architecture of the pose. We talk about those safety practices and anatomy alternatives. And what's really fun and I love is when we start talking about the subtle body. So again, you can tell just from this conversation, and I think I'm even talking about half of our program here, but you're getting this vast overview in really a short amount of time. I do have some people ask me, hey, what about that in-person weekend? Can I Zoom in for that? I'm going to tell you no. No, you can't, because that's really a requirement. It's something that I feel strongly about having that experience of the pose, about being able to connect with community, and also having this immersive information come to you where you can feel into what you need to experience in that moment. For our educational programs, we have some wonderful doctoral candidates come in from various universities here in Nashville, along with all of our lead trainers who have over thousands of hours to guide you with. And we're a fun group. Recently, we were having to answer some questions for a post on our birthdays, and our program director and myself got tickled when we saw our answers. It was, if you were bringing someone famous to your class, who would you bring? And hers was, oh gosh, I love him so much, David Arquette. And mine was Jim Carrey. And we just started laughing because we are really drawn to joy. We're drawn to people who portray laughter, along with all of that joy and enthusiasm for yoga. That is our intention for participants to feel when they come as well. And we welcome anybody with anybody to come join us and celebrate all thoughts, all the feels, and all of our opinions in such a loving, supportive environment. So I hope if you have questions, you'll reach out. And now to go to that little story about me, in case you're still with us and you'd like to hear more about that. I definitely had no idea I was going to take teacher training, but I think more importantly, I had no idea what it was going to do for my life. And you hear these stories throughout the yoga community about how it's not just a mindset change, but it's actually a life change. And it certainly was for me. I walked into the studio in Denver where I was practicing, and one of my soon-to-be trainers said to me, hey, Nick, I think you should take teacher training. And I thought, why? I'd been doing yoga for about 15 years at that time. I did it mainly for the physical aspect of yoga. And I thought it was kind of funny she asked. And I walked into the room and I laid down on my mat and I started to sob. It was the strangest thing. I was going through some things, I will admit, and I was kind of beginning to up-level my life because I was meeting people down here instead of being up here to meet the world. And I wasn't showing up exactly how I wanted to show up. And I knew in that moment when I was laying down on the mat and I was sobbing, something that was very unusual to me at the time. Now it's just whenever it happens, I'm there for it. But at the time it was weird, and I thought, I'm going to do this, and not only am I going to do this, something's going to come out of this. And you can learn more about the major shift that happened within the first 6 months of that when you come to our training. But my story is just one of many throughout the yoga community. We often hear these stories of life changes. So whether I see you here in YTT or on the mat, I know I will when it's right. Sweaty hugs, everybody from Nashville. Mwah.